Drop live if you are tuning in live. If you're watching the replay, then drop replay. All right. So today we're going to talk about the science of getting the attention of your Dream 100 prospects. If you have not heard of the concept of your Dream 100, it's a term made popular by Chet Holmes in a book he wrote called The Ultimate Sales Machine. He basically built his career on it. But the idea is, what are the 100 dream clients that if you were to be able to pick anyone, who would you have as clients? And that's part of, what we help people with in our business with Apex because we're helping them enjoy every client. So that's the highest level client that you want, enjoy acquiring them, all of that. And so the Dream 100 is a big deal for us. And so this is part 2 of what I call like the LinkedIn Leadership Series. Here, let me actually move myself over there, of the LinkedIn Leadership Series. So if you are just starting out on LinkedIn, then the last one that I did is perfect for you. Go check that one out, and then perhaps come back and watch this one. Unless you're live, then just stay here. So yeah, the last one was called How to Avoid the Top 3 Mistakes Most Businesses Make When They Start Out on LinkedIn. And this one is talking about the Dream 100. So you've probably been using LinkedIn for some time, or you at least are planning on starting to use it soon. Perhaps watch the previous episode. Now, when we look at this, there's like 4 different stages of like evolution of someone as they're using LinkedIn. And so at the bottom, like that's what we talked about last time, is the people that are like completely lost. So like they're just looking for random clients. Like they don't really have like a specific one they want. Think of the Dream 100 where it's, if you could like decide who the clients would be and you'd be like, oh, hey, like I want, this company. And so down here, they're just looking for any type of work. They're just trying to survive. The issue with that though, is that their messaging, who they're approaching, even with the messaging, it's super watered down and vague. So it doesn't feel like relevant to anyone and no one feels like they really understand them. Now, over time, as they figure out and they, perhaps they do get some clients and then they see a pattern in the clients that they do have, and then they go, okay, let's work with that, because they start to get people start to get like a little bit of interest, but they're, in terms of who they actually want as a client, it's still kind of roughly defined. If that's you, like let me know in the comments. But really, for them to get up to this gray stage, like this darker gray stage right here, that's the first thing they got to do, is they got to pick out exactly who they actually want to work with and refines their message and whatnot. Now, in this one, we're talking about, okay, how does someone get to the stage of confusion, which is really more like it's basically they're really diluted. So they figured out like, hey, we have a pattern of clients that we want to get, but we don't know exactly like how we want to acquire them. And we're not like really super defined on it. And there's usually not any like, their market like isn't super verified. So they need to get like crystal clear on it. And like let's say if you're struggling with this, inside of the Facebook, actually this might be helpful. Inside of the Facebook group, Leader Forge, we actually did some persona work and like market differentiator training. So I would go look inside of the group, and if you can't find that, reach out to me and let me know. But inside of that group, we actually did some trainings. I know Nick as well. He dropped a persona like kind of worksheet in there. So that's good. If you go to leaderforgegroup.com as well, that'll actually take you right there. So that's like one of the biggest issues with the confusion is they're still kind of like roughly identified with who they want to work with. It's actually use red. Next part is like they're not really getting any interest, right? And so LinkedIn is really all about connecting. There's really no other platform that's is focused on connecting like directly as much as LinkedIn, because they let you add a connection note even with connecting with someone, so they're encouraging it. But in 2021, they actually changed it so that you can only reach out to like 100 people a week, just with like their standard method. And it's still the best for B2B, but let's say that you aren't super like refined in your messaging and it's not working. Like the volume, because a lot of people, what they were doing, because I've been using LinkedIn like this for about maybe 9 years now. is that they would just like, they needed a crazy ton of volume, so they would be messaging and reaching out to like 500 people a day, and they'd get like, 1% of people would actually like accept or reply to them. And so and usually it wasn't like as good of a reply message, because let's say if you're, in this case we're going for the Dream 100, if you're just like going for whoever and you're at that bottom stage, then that might work. You're going to get some of the lower level clients. But if you're looking for like, hey, who are some like mid-level or enterprise level businesses that we want to work with, they have gatekeepers. So the messaging gatekeeper, by the way, is someone that's like, if you were to call up and be like, hey, I want to talk to the head of marketing or whatever, there's usually someone who's going to take the call and decide if that is relevant enough for that the head of marketing to actually engage in a conversation with you, and for them to they kind of protect their time. So if we want to actually get attention for these people, we need to be so relevant that it drives a lot of urgency. And so really, like, that is a big part of it now, because if we can only reach out to like 100 people a week, like, this outreach actually has to be working, right? And so we can't go to like thousands of people anymore. So we now need to go and like be super relevant so that we can actually get results. On the flip side, there's actually an opportunity there, because the people that were getting 1 out of 5,000 people, they can't really play the game anymore with the way they were doing it. So they actually have to become good marketers. But when you're creating the Dream 100, one part that's cool about this is that, let's say that you and another company are going after, and this is where LinkedIn comes in too. Let's say that you guys are both going after some company, right? Let's say you're going after Google or some large company. It's going to be very difficult to like make an ad or a post that they engage with. It's going to be a lot more, even just you, right? You thinking right now, you seeing a post versus, let's say that someone, instead of them making a post or an ad and you seeing that, they make something for you specifically. So it's like super relevant to you. It's personalized to you. You feel like that they're genuinely interested in working with you. That relevancy drives a lot of urgency. And so you're going to get a much higher reply rate. And so when I look at like the Dream 100 and I think, okay, what's the best way for us to get in contact with these people? I wouldn't be running an ad trying to get a hold of them. I'd actually be reaching out to them directly and building a like pathway by paying attention. I'd probably take a step back and look at the buyer's journey. Like, what are the stages that they have to go through in their journey? And then how do I like see where they are taking actions like online? And then how do I build out a custom experience to these people that not only are they like, hey, yeah, we look correct in terms of like demographics, but we're also taking the right actions. So the psychographics, whether they're like engaging in content, maybe they were on like some webinar or something, there are Dream 100 clients that most likely are doing things in the market that are, they could be like engaging with your competitors' content, something like that, right? And they are actually showing interest in there, and you can use that to your advantage. And so paying attention to the different stages of the buyer's journey, that's something that I would probably write down and look at like, okay, what are all the questions they need to answer? A really simplified version of this is if you look at like a car dealership. Car dealerships, their website is really set up so that you can't become a lead until you've narrowed down to the unit that you want. But the shoppers, which we used to help car dealerships, we actually have a product called Journey Convert that's kind of helps them with that. But when you look at like the car buyer's journey, they have to go like, okay, is this the best one? Is this the best car for me? Am I finding the best deal? There's all these different questions that they need to figure out before they can actually be like, yeah, this is the one that I want. And so same thing with people here in the online space. A lot of your competitors aren't like helping out with specific stages. And so you can actually come in and kind of make them the hero of their own journey. And that, again, that relevancy with the Dream 100 will get a lot of them to pay a lot more attention to you. And that also goes into the follow-up. I know I see a lot of people, sometimes they'll They'll come in and they will get the interest of some of their prospects, but then if they don't respond right away, they will stop. But we live in a super distracting world, right? How many times have you went to buy something and then you forgot about it because something came up in life, or you saw some content, or you pulled out your phone and looked at social media, and then a couple of weeks later, then maybe you got an email or a message or something, and you're like, oh crap, I gotta go get that, and then you bought it. So they actually like the follow up. It actually helps out with their life. So the solution for that stage right there is really like, you need to make your personalization for that specific person like completely irresistible. And then, like I was talking about with the follow-up, to actually make it so that the entire journey works, you have to really have a delivery sequence that like stimulates intrigue. Okay. Now, the last like portion on here, where like the difference between the people that truly have traction and those who are just in this state of like confusion, or like things are diluted where they're kind of getting results, but they don't really know like, hey, how do we make this thing like really start working? Is that they don't have like a systemized approach. So first of all, it's going to take like a lot more time. Takes them way more time than it takes someone who has a systemized approach. And that gives like a really poor experience because things move like super slow, right? You know how you get better at something and it goes quicker and quicker and quicker. And they might not have tools, what have you. Or like maybe they need a team. Maybe they have to maybe you have to do like client work or run your company or whatever, and you can't spend all the time on this. So you either need someone to be able to delegate it to, or you need to have someone be able to do it for you. The second part is that they don't have any like structure that gives them insight. So what happens is that they'll be moving in the wrong direction for too long, right? There's a term called statistical significance. If you want to look that up, that'll let you know, like, okay, if I'm testing two things, when is the soonest point where I will know that this has an extremely high probability of continuing this way, and then move on to the next test, versus either just putting one thing and letting it fail or succeed, or just like going forever with two variables. So your testing structure is huge because there aren't really like great marketers. They're only great testers. And so like the solution for that is really just having like a growth methodology, which kind of works like a turbo, right? So like data comes in, and then if you can use it correctly, then you can actually get like this increase, and then you'll just keep doing that. And that's how you increase, versus just like throwing darts randomly at the dartboard. You actually want your efforts as you go towards getting these Dream 100 clients to work well. Plus, when it's not working, you won't be able to reach out to those guys again. So we want it to work as quickly as possible, and we want to be able to have the right like testing structure. And so that really will make you more data-based. And down here, like we're looking, this gray section, like at the bottom, right? Like these guys don't have any data structure at all. Usually when I see people that are where I would classify them in the confusion stage, they have some data. They're kind of data driven, but that's just because they've been in business and they've picked out a pattern along the way. The people that actually have traction, they usually have like a data-based like growth methodology, and they actually have a tempo of like how often they're testing and what the hypotheses are and how they're prioritizing them. So that's super important. And then we'll talk about the top stage on a different one. So yeah, LinkedIn is perfect for what we call account-based marketing. And in my opinion, Dream 100, we're going after a specific 100 clients or prospects to be our ideal clients. I think account-based marketing is the best approach for that, because account-based marketing is where you're like, exactly what we're talking about. You're picking out like one person. You're creating an experience that's made like just for them. Like you're rolling out the red carpet just for that prospect. And since they're so high level, I mean, it's your dream client, right? Those should be well worth your time to actually spend the effort on making something that's just for them. So I think LinkedIn is absolutely perfect for account-based marketing. You can combine it with email and different things like that, right? I have a couple stats here. So 40% of marketers indicate LinkedIn as the most effective channel for driving high quality leads due to the ability to pinpoint who they target. So if we are wanting to create an experience for our Dream 100 soon to be client, being able to target them is super important, right? Like, let's say that you went, okay, I want to talk to that head of marketing, and then you make an ad for that specific company. Like, it's not going to be that easy, and it's going to be seen as an ad. They know that you're not reaching out to them. They know that you made an ad. So being able to pinpoint who they are and create that initial list, super perfect. And then second one, higher response rate than traditional email. Email's still fine paired with it, but it has an 85%. So like InMails and LinkedIn have an 85% open rate, which is 3 times higher than the average email. And even then, like that's a pretty good, like 30% almost is a pretty good response rate for email. I know a lot of people that do a lot worse than that. So, and now let's look at, so I have this here for you. So there's the high ticket handbook. So when I first made this, I might need to move myself a little bit. When I first, I don't have gray hair anymore. So when I first made this, the high ticket handbook, it was actually in a challenge to make a book over the weekend. So, it only took me like a couple days. And I used some AI and that was fun. And the book's really good. But what I'm actually going to do here is I'm making a new version, making like a super solid version of the book. So inside I'm going to have templates. I'm going to have more strategies. I'm going to have like systematic approaches to things and a ton more. I'm actually thinking about making like a course for it as well that accompanies with it. But if you go and grab, you can either get it on Amazon, although I don't know if Amazon will automatically give you the new version. I think it'll allow you to, but you won't know. Right here, this link right here, this keys.nameworks.com/book. If you go there and you get that, it's free. When I put out the new version, you'll automatically get an email that new version is out, and then you can just go download that one. But you got to be on the list for me to know that this is, that you want that. So do that. There's a ton of great things in there, even in the current version. And so I hope that this helps you like go after your dream clients, because really at the end of the day, we want to enjoy acquiring the clients that we want to work with the most. So if I can help you do that more, that is, one of my favorite things to do. So if you have any questions, drop them below. I'll be making another one here soon of this. And then, grab that handbook. Let me know if you have any questions. And just enjoy your day.